Welcome back to Frontier for episode 18 with me, MrSealyp. Off the back of the previous episode where I purchased this grass field because we put sheep in and then I put in the building and realised that we needed hay and silage and not just grass. As it turns out, the grass was fully grown here and it wouldn't accept any more fertiliser because it was fully grown. So I'm going to mow this, we're going to get this picked up, taken up, I'm going to put it into that building up by the sheep pen. And then what we're going to do is, I've got 2 baling contracts I'm going to get done. I'll do a couple of literally little snippets of those, of me doing those. I might talk on those, I might just do a bit of music, or it might just be the clips, don't know. We've got fields to clear, so fields to prep. The harvested field, our sorghum field, needs to be needs to be sorted and replanted, so we're going to have to move on to that, as well as I've got some other things I need to do, all sorts of stuff happening. As I mentioned earlier, our field that we harvested needs mulching, and then we're borrowing the cedar. I'm going to pay the 100, like I said, for a borrow, or maybe 1,000. I don't. We're borrowing it, so we'll pay a bit because there's seed and fertiliser in it as well. But we're still doing that thing of bouncing jobs around. I've got some more requests that have come in from the Agro-Industrial Cooperative. Their pivot fields that I did, the one that needs harvesting, they want that harvested. Now they don't want the crop. That was never about the crop. They wanted they were test plots to see whether or not the concept will work. And this is one of the new the Horticultro 9, I think it is. I'm sure it's the Cultro 9. I don't put my yes, Cultro 9. There we go. And obviously the seed we're going to borrow from the authority is a direct drill, so we'll be fine for that. I'm going to put probably wheat or barley back in this. Have to turn it on, drop it down. So we're going to mulch this. So yeah, I'm going to go out, take the harvester. What I have done, the money's gone down. Well, it went up, then came down. Obviously, yeah, you saw the end of the 2 baling contracts. I'll show you that in a minute. Actually, when I come back with the planter, the seeder, we'll go past the sheep, because I want to show you the bales we had left over at the end of those 2 contracts. And I bought a header trailer because I thought, what dawned on me was, it's all well and good if I'm doing harvesting and stuff within the confines of the wall in here, or at least on this patch, on this sort of valley basin, but if we then have to go out further afield, literally, onto the roads, unless I just keep putting onto the flatbed of my trailer, which can then, if I need to use that for other things, or it's just easier to have a header trailer. That's probably the best way of putting it. It's just easier to have a header trailer. So we got the Nardi, I think it was 5 grand. So we were up to 212, we're now down to 205. Is there something else I bought? I'm trying to think, because it was 5 grand. Why has it gone? Oh no, 5.5. Yeah, that's probably about right. I'm thinking, actually, I'm trying to work out, as it stands at the moment, how do we expand our farming? I mentioned this before, but I can keep buying fields inside the walls, of course I can, and we can extend them out. And once these, I mean, I was going to wait for them all to be harvested and then maybe plough out 1 big field. I suppose I could still do that. Rather than mulch this, I could plough it out once they're all harvested. But I'd rather get another crop in the ground. But if we go to our overhead map, like I said before, apart from, there's a couple of bigger fields here, and we could buy, start buying up field, and just plough 1 massive field there. But it was just that sudden thing of, oh yeah, Agro-Industrial Cooperative said, oh, can you come out and harvest that field, which is ready to go. And then those 2 will be at some point. These test plots were the tests to see whether or not it would work outside the wall. That's where the biggest expanse of land is. It's all outside the wall. And using the testicide that we've tested, that's the more obvious way of expanding. But the prices are up there. Unless I go for something like 66, 69, 66 is 155 grand. And we go outside the wall. Now there's a load of sand that would need to be cleared off that as well. So I'd make a bit of money from the sand, get the train along as I did before, load the train up. I might do that, But I want to try and do as much frontier stuff as I can, I want the farm running, I want to get some crops in the ground, but I don't want to miss anything off of here, I want to experience it all, but it's just whether or not I'll get to a point without skipping ahead massively, so my mine produces enough that I can buy the oil refinery or something like that, that's still going to require a lot of inputs. I don't know, like I say, I'm weighing up options really at the moment. My dream was to get in from the outside, from the wastes, with me barra, and have a farm and have that idyllic life, to be able to sit here on the porch and watch the sunrises and the sunsets and do a bit of farming, and we are doing that. We have achieved that. And this is the difference I was saying between the 2 Let's Plays, isn't it? That thing of there's either the constant want to expand, that constant want to get bigger, to get more. At what point do we stop? And this is a philosophical. This is a commentary on us, on people. At what point do you stop and say, you know what, I'm happy. I'm good with what I've got, thank you. I'm at a place now where all is good. I know. So right here at the sheep farm then, we have got a little bit of sheep milk already being produced. Awesome stuff. We'll go and check on this. How are we getting on here? I think my thing's turned off. Click on here. So grass, hay. There we go. So that's our input of grass. As you can see, I cut that new field we bought, the grass field. we did that. We got plenty off that. So we got 163,000 litres, or we had more than that, but 14,000, just over 14,500 litres of hay and silage have been produced already. So the hay and silage that we're going to need to feed the sheep is being produced in here. But left over from those 2 baling contracts we just completed, we had 6 hay bales and we had 9 silage bales. So I can use the bales first, or we can use that, whichever way around. Plus I've still got some hay and I've got some silage. I was just very conscious of the fact that I needed hay for feeding the horses, and we haven't got a huge amount of bales left. I did use some, so those are spare. These are here and they can be utilised whenever we need to, which is good. So I suppose what I should do, do we just go over an hour? Oh yeah, so obviously my facilities are still producing and a lot of them are still set on selling. So what I need to do now is we need to transfer to the Transitional Authority £1,000. Nope, not unfold that yet. That's for the borrow of the seeder. I was going to use my own tractor actually, but when I was over there I thought, well, rather than drive backwards and forwards, we'll use their tractor to get it over. I suppose I should really use my tractor for doing it, but I've paid £1,000, so we might as well borrow them both. I could just easily just bring the Deutz far over, it's just there, but I've got it set on wheat. I was thinking soybean. I haven't really done soybean and stuff for quite a while. It's one of those things that wherever I've been, because I've been doing animals, it's normally wheat and barley and all those kind of things I'm thinking I need. And because on here I'm earning money from other productions and things, we've got our pallets are selling automatically. We've got our stone factory. I forgot about the stone factory. Yeah, we're doing the stone factories, aren't we? Stone factory is selling. I'm going to need to bring over the stones actually from the mine and take those to the stone factory at some point. I need to get those in. Now, this is a direct drill. Now, are we going to have problems that we had before, or is this going to work? We're about to find out. Turn it on. Right, we're good. So we are seeding and fertilising. When we get into our first growth stage, I'm going to then borrow the sprayer, and then we're going to go over to the agro-industrial. No, actually there's still some left in the sprayer, and again I'll pay them for the use of the sprayer. Agro-industrial cooperative have got more of the pesticide still available, and we can always take more out, and we can put it through that dilution tank to help them out. And I mean, like I say, we're helping them by helping. We're helping ourselves by helping them. That's the best way of putting it. No such thing as a selfless act. Is that true? I don't think it is true, is it? I'm sure there's plenty of stuff that people do that is selfless. I suppose there's always that. Again, we come down to very, very deep today, very moral and very, I suppose it depends where you view it, doesn't it? If you think if somebody just gets personal gratification, just that nice big warm smile on your face of saying I did something nice, that surely can't count, can it? I don't know. So anyway, let's get this done. This will need to be rolled, so I'll go and grab the roller. But I'll get that done. And what I'm going to do now is get that harvester out. Oh, that's what I talked to you about it when we get out there actually. I had a message from Lewis the other day. I mean, Lewis has messaged me before, but Lewis messaged me, and it was one of those kind of, my brain was like, whoa, that is so cool. But I'll explain when we get out there. I'll get on with this. And I'll grab the harvester, and we'll get out to the pivot fields. Get that done. I think it was sorghum, wasn't it? We can bring that back. At least that'll give us a bit more for the chickens. And I guess what the agro-industrial cooperative are going to do, they're going to start buying up bigger plots. Now the test plots have worked, and they know it's all going to work. because the premise behind that was getting the agro-industrial cooperative, the big cell station, out there back on its feet. And to do that, they needed more people farming bigger fields and taking their products to them. That was the whole premise behind them commissioning those test plots, I guess. That's the best way I put it, yeah, commissioning, they did, yeah. So the seeding is done. I'm just bringing the Deutz out with the trailer before we bring the harvester out. I'm going to bring the harvester out through the gate further along because it'll be easier. Now, this is the plot I'm looking at. It's not a bad size. There's a lot of sand on here though that we'd have to clear. But clear the sand, plough it right out to the end, as close to the edge as we can without hitting the signs. That's a nice big plot. What was it, 155 grand? Is it something like that? That's not a bad size, is it? I'm thinking the forage header pickup that I used when I did all the dirt. Clear a load of the sand out. Mind you, this is quite wow, this is bumpy, isn't it? It might need a bit of landscaping at this end. I'm just thinking that's not sand, is it? That's a mound. But I'm just thinking, when I was saying about barrel hunting, there was a beep out there, wasn't there? We experienced when we were coming back from the train one of the times. There's a beep in the wall I know about, definitely. And up in the woodland, when I was doing the clearing of the dirt, it was out along this stretch here somewhere. There was a beep. I mean, there are others. There are going to be others, of course there are, but they're three I'm sure of. Farmer Manu did message me a while back. I'd have to go and check the message again, to tell me he'd been doing a bit of research and on the map and been going around and finding various different things, and he sent me a message with the amount of bins that were on the map, the amount of metal, the amount of barrels. Did he send me anything with the locations? I can't remember. Anyway, so heading out, the other thing I was going to talk about was Lewis. Lewis messaged me. I said I was going to talk about it. And this is relevant because we're getting out to the pivot fields now. So Lewis messaged me and said, here's a picture of the ranch I used to work at and all of our crop circles. My mind automatically went to aliens. I was like, crop circles? So bang, I was like straight to the picture. Wallop. Brought the picture up. No, it's the pivot fields, like big circular pivot fields. And on the screenshot, it's a Google image screenshot from above of Eagle Ranch. I've never seen anything like it. Just, I mean, that single screenshot alone, I know I haven't put it up on the screen or anything, it's got to be 100, if not more, of those pivot fields. All completely interlocked. So, like, perfectly laid out, so each circle sort of not overlaps, but interlocks with the next one. Which is staggering. I mean, absolutely incredible. So it's brilliant. So, you know, he sent me a couple of other messages about it, a couple of other pictures. He sent me a picture of a Challenger and its cab window just absolutely demolished. And it says, this is the Challenger windshield. The guy operating it fell asleep and ran into a pivot. So those big booms, the guys here have removed them. But the pivots, yeah, that we used earlier on, so we manually do the outside, then the GPS runs the tractor across the field and we just have to stop and turn around. But he fell asleep and drove into one of the pivots, smashed all the windscreen. It's not cool. So then he sent me in the next message saying each one of those circles, now these are small circles here, what do we have, 2 sections on these? I'm sure it was 2 sections, or was it 3? They run 8 spans, each field is 128 acres. And like I say, the screenshot he sent me, if I'm trying to think, is there anything I can get it to go up on the screen? I'll take out all any information that's sort of, say, relevant, but Yeah, I'll do it. I'll get it come up on the screen. Yeah, each one of those fields 128 acres. That's staggering. I mean, absolutely staggering. Hang on, was this... No, this was... Oh, hang on. Oh, it was oats. It wasn't sorghum, was it? Oh, that's not going to help me for the chickens, but it would for the horses if I wanted to. It's a very kind of... Had it been wheat or sorghum, I probably would have kept it, but I'm just thinking oats, really, I don't need to. So what I'll probably do, we'll come out, we'll harvest it because they've asked us to. I'll switch over onto the Agro-Industrial Cooperative's account. We'll deliver it for them. Actually, we'll take it to their. We'll take it there. That's the Agro-Industrial Cooperative. So this is what I was expecting. You know that mod, that mining mod that came out? This was what I was expecting. I thought that once you put the stuff in on that mining mod, that the donkeys would start nodding. But they didn't. See, that's the other option. I could set up an entire new mine. The only problem with that was the same as that greenhouse what's it called? What's the word I'm looking for? Modular. The modular greenhouses. None of it was cheap. I think each section was 85 grand. And whilst you're getting a big industrial greenhouse complex, when you can pick up a large greenhouse for 9 grand, paying 85 grand for each section, I don't know. I'm either feeling philosophical or crabby, or both, I don't know. Today, I'm feeling, yeah, I don't know what it is. Percentage? I was only going to do that on Court Farm, but you know what? Percentage. Mental health check. Have a mental health check. Do it every day. Today, what was I the other day? I said well, I was up about 90. I think it's 70 today. I'm on a lower ebb today. And I can feel myself. You ever get that feeling where you're feeling a little bit crabby, a little bit niggly, that things are winding you up easier than they would do normally? There's never a good day, especially when mods come out. If you're having a niggly, crabby day, and you find all the little things that frustrate you, things that you try and gloss over normally, or things that you try and say, you try and find the positives. Sometimes I just get a little bit, I don't know why. I've got to try and work out. That's the other thing as well. Give yourself a percentage and then say to yourself, okay, why do I feel like this and how do I change it? And honestly, I don't know today. Can't put my finger on what it is. I slept all right last night. I did say earlier in the week I haven't been feeling very well, and I'm still not feeling 100%. Could be that. Could just be I'm just feeling a bit unwell today, potentially. But anyway, let's get the harvester out. I did exercise the horses in the end. I said in the last episode, didn't I hadn't done it. Corn can't be that far off. We'll get that done. Once it's ready, of course. And typically, I moved the bales and I did put the header under the cover, which I said would work quite nicely. That overhang there, that header fits under there absolutely perfectly. And this just about squeaks under for putting it in. I mean, actually, it doesn't squeak under, does it? I hit that guttering. Hang on a minute. How did that let me... That's bizarre. I got under that gutter to put the header under there. Now what? If I open this up, see, some harvesters, when you open it up, it lowers the back, but that raises the front, which doesn't help. I don't know what's going on here. How did... what? No! Right, I know what to do. Well, firstly, you need to move this out of the way. It's not weird. The hole? Where'd that hole appear from? I need to fill that. There's a couple more there. I don't remember those holes being there before. Let's move this out of the way. Part right there. I still love that, by the way. I love that XJ. I mean, there are so many cracking pick up 4x4 mods. Oh, the old local Rozzers have got a new one. The old animal, you know, the canine unit. They've got a new one. Ooh, extended dually, very nice. I'll have to show you that at some point. I keep seeing it parked up by the old Rozzer station. Oh, come on, this worked before. Oh, go on, go on. No. Come on. Oh, there we go. Oh. It ain't pretty, but it did work. Farmer's fix. If in doubt, give it a clout. Probably just caused 20 grand worth of damage to the header, but I was going to say, if no one saw it, it never happened, but you will just watch me do it. Now this was the recommended combination for the harvester and the header, so fingers crossed. It's not supposed to automatically connect. There we go, I think it just did. I think, you know, I'm doing it. I only went and did it. Oh my god. What was I thinking? No, it's alright, it's good. Isn't it funny how things go full circle? I came in from outside, in from the cold, to achieve my dream, to then just buy more land outside and go back out again. At least I know, being a citizen. Solidarity, brothers. We can. I can come back in. That's the good thing. I know that even if I am farming outside, I can come back inside to my lovely little farm. So you're gonna go? Come on, mate. So back out the way. You seem a bit indecisive. Let's do this. Isn't it weird? When I was preparing these, they seemed a lot bigger. I fitted them in where I could. I'm not sure how this header's. I'm actually, that's quite. It's quite. What's the word I'm looking for? It's a fairly narrow header. Header trailers. Am I right? Oh, they can be the bane of my existence. Yeah. Now, same as when I was planting these, and when I was ploughing, I've never harvested in the circle. I've gone round field edges. I don't think I've ever done this. Let's turn it on. Isn't it weird? I don't. Is it weird? I don't know. It just feels very strange. But I'm glad the proof of concept worked. Of course, a lot of sand built up there. Oh no! As you can see, top left, I have switched over to the agro-industrial cooperatives payroll, so that when we deliver this, they get paid for it, not me. Like I say, I think I've got oats left. Considering how long we've had the horses for now, what I originally got, I haven't put anything more in. I haven't put any more hay in or any oats in. They're not, very heavy on feed to the horses. Oh, actually, that's worked out perfectly. I mean, it's steep, but it's okay. I wasn't sure if it would harvest. That's me more than the actual field itself. I think had we done this test further down, I think because they purchased the land up here, because it was up near the cooperative, had they purchased 2 or 3 of these plots, we could have gone for a much bigger pivot. I mean, when you look at the size of those ones, I'm sure those were 2 sections, or possibly 3 of them were 2s. We could have gone, we could have gone massive out there on the pivot, but no, it's cool, like I say, these were just test plots. I'm assuming, I don't know actually. Like I say, I don't know. I'd have to speak to Lewis actually. Lewis would be able to answer my question, and anyone else that farms like this. Like I say, it's not something I'm trying to think anywhere in the UK. I'm not saying it doesn't happen in the UK. I'm just saying I've never personally encountered it. I've never seen it anywhere in the UK. Yeah, whether or not, when he said about they go around the outside. And then GPS, I assume he means across. You just go backwards and forwards across it, rather than going round in a circle the whole time. I don't know. Because I mean, my natural instinct for this kind of situation is just to carry on in a spiral round to the middle. Just carry on going round. It's a gradual turn. But I guess it depends on the crop. If you've grown crops and you've got your crops in rows, whatever they are, then you're going to be following the rows of the crops, aren't you, rather than cutting across them. I know sometimes farmers will cut in a different direction if they've had crops blown down or knocked down by storms, bad weather, that kind of stuff. They might harvest in a slightly different direction so the header can pick them up off the ground easier. Because obviously if the, I know it's one of those, sorry, if the crop had blown down in this direction and was laying flat that way, all you're doing by going this way is pushing against it, which pushes it further down to the ground. So what you might need to do is come at a diagonal across it. So what you're doing is using the bottom section, the header, the cutter bar, to kind of lift it up off the ground so it will cut. Like I say, I'm no farmer, but I'm just, from what I've learnt, what I've seen, what I've watched on various different tubers channels, I do appreciate when people send me messages saying, have you thought about or have you watched this person or this person, this person, this person. I'll be honest, I go through some weeks where I'm so far behind on some of the YouTubers that I do watch. And again, it's that work-life balance thing, at the weekend, I had a busy weekend. I saw my kids on Saturday. All of them were over, and I mentioned that, and I hadn't seen them all together for quite a while, and that was lovely. And then Sunday, I often will do videos on a Sunday, but Sunday afternoon, evening, we might have Sunday dinner together, and then, again, normally a relaxing evening, we might take the dog for a walk, so when you've got stuff like that going on, but often what I'll do is when I'm done filming and I'm doing my editing, or videos are rendering or they're uploading to YouTube, that's when I think, right, okay, I've got 20 minutes, I'll stick on one, I'll watch whoever's next on my list, down my list of channels that I watch. And I've got quite a few, and quite a eclectic, is that, yeah, I mean, I watch a lot of bushcraft guys, into my bushcraft stuff and camping and survivally type stuff. I watch Adam Savage Tested. I love that channel. I think it's absolutely brilliant. I love it. I watch a lot of model making because I like my tabletop wargaming, which again I haven't had a lot of time to do in a long time. So as far as making models, building models, or even painting them, that kind of stuff, it's finding the time. I watch a lot of those tabletop time. So many different ones. I watch. Who's the other guy? My mind, isn't it weird how there's stuff you'll watch all the time and then you just absolutely blank. When it comes to talking about it, your mind just goes, just turns to absolute mush. I watch Alex Steele, blacksmith. Yeah, I watch Alex Steele, blacksmithing. Black Rifle Coffee Company. They don't put as much stuff out as they used to. As the company's grown, they don't put as much stuff out. Cole the Cornstar, obviously, I've talked about him a lot. Demolition Ranch, Matt Carricker, I watch him. So I watch some firearms channels. In the UK, we don't get much in the way of, we're not allowed. I mean, you can go shooting, but we don't. Ownership is a lot harder in the UK, and carrying and whatnot. I watch a couple of car channels, Drive Tribe, and What's Next, kind of spin off that. Eric's Hobby Workshop, watch that. Who else? Oh, Eric Grandquist. Eric Grandquist is a young lad who lives in Norway, Sweden. I can't remember now. And he was, I think, when he started building his own log cabin in the woods, his family lived and farm in sort of agricultural woodland. He built his own cabin. I have to say, if you watch it, it's just phenomenal how he's got. And the guy is a craftsman, very young lad, but wow. Who else? Doug Linker. He was off the back of watching some bushcraft channels, but he does carving and stuff. I've watched all sorts of. Garan Thumb, I watch him. Garan Thumb, Fowler's Maker in Mischief. Zachary Fowler, who won one of the series of Alone way back. Watch his channel. Hayes Outdoors. Paul Hayes, love him. Outdoor channel, absolutely amazing. So I'm just listing all things I watch, just because some people ask me, what do you do for your spare time? Jazza. Now Jazz's a guy, and his is art channels, and tabletop time is off of his channel. So it's kind of all sorts of arty side stuff, but they do tabletop wargaming and painting of miniatures, that kind of stuff. Jimmy Broadbent for sim racing content. I love him. Jimmy Broadbent is just fantastic. Who else have we got? Oh, Joe Robinett. I watch Joe Robinett, bushcraft stuff. Chris Harbour. Chris Harbour Natural Building. His was one that just popped up way back, and he's out in Wales, and he kind of shunned life, a real job, went and bought a plot of land in Wales, built himself a cabin, and it's been about his expansion into woodworking, carpentry, and all. Again, love that channel, absolutely amazing. Another model making one, Laser Creation World, is a great one. Luke Towan. Luke Towan is an amazing guy. Luke Towan is I want to say Qantas. Is it Qantas? He's an airline pilot, but he makes model railways in his spare time, and model railway dioramas and stuff like that. Phenomenal. Love his stuff. Who else do I watch? Mark Rober worked for NASA. Was it the Mars rover he worked on? He's got his channel, all sorts of crazy bonkers stuff he does. Who else? Millennial Farmer, odds. Modern Self-Reliance. I watch My Self-Reliance with Sean James and Modern Self-Reliance with a guy called Kevin. I used to watch his brother's channel, which I don't watch as much anymore, The Wooded Beardsman, but his brother Kevin does a self-reliance channel but using modern tools and equipment. He said if you're going to be self-reliant, that's fine, but there's nothing to stop you using power tools and modern stuff. That's an interesting channel. I like watching that. Mr. Dalek JD, obviously, and like I say, all of these I just when I can. I've got so many on my list, and I every now and again I'm going, I haven't watched them for a while, and sometimes they have a bit of a binge watch while stuff's rendering and whatever. Off the Ranch, which is off Matt Carricker that does Demolition Ranch. His spin-off channel of other stuff is Off the Ranch. I watch that again when I can. Who else? Real Train Hobbies. Oh, Primitive Technology. Guy's out in Australia. He never speaks. but again, wow. He's done a TV series on, what was it on, History Channel? Discovery, I think, and brought out a book as well. Just incredible. Real Train Hobbies, Neil on Real Train Hobbies, amazing guy. That guy, wow. I watch the Royal Marines channel a lot. Their stuff comes up. Squidmar Miniatures, Smarter Every Day. There's a whole list of them. T-Rex Arms. That's a shooting one. TA Outdoors, Mike Pullen here in the UK. Bushcraft channel, great. Love his dad, Graham. His dad's, they do totally awesome fishing. I've mentioned that I watch Bob Mortimer and Paul Whitehouse gone fishing. That is it's not even a guilty pleasure. I just love it. It's one of those feel good. I just sit and watch, and I love it. That's fantastic. That's not a YouTube channel, that's a TV series. Who else I watch? TFB TV, another shooting channel. The Backyard Scientist. He hasn't put anything up in quite a while, actually. Who's the other one that hasn't put stuff up in quite a while? There's another guy that does like engineering, technology stuff, and he hasn't put anything up in quite a while. It's sort of intermittent. I can't remember what his channel's called now. Sorry. Flank Farmer, that's another one. Sarah Den here in the UK. That's a great one to watch. I love them. Lovely people as well. The Terrain Tutor hasn't been very well lately, but his channel, again, model making, terrain building. Tom Pemberton, obviously Tom Pemberton. Tom Pepper's Diary, here's another one. Not a very big channel, but again in the UK, he's a farmer, does engineering work and stuff. Welker Farms. A guy called Will Stelter who did stuff with Alex Still, blacksmithing. And he went off, and when they kind of Alex Still came back to the UK because Alex Still was in the UK, moved out to America to Montana, and then they had the workshop together, and then they kind of went their own separate ways. And Zorp Gaming was in Australia and has just moved to New Zealand. There you go. If you wanted a list of the channels that I watch, and there's some other odds and ends thrown in there as well. But yeah, a real mixture of stuff that I just, things that I'm interested in, things that I have either a passion for or enjoy. Again, it's finding the time. I've got a load of wood carving knives. I've got a lot of I've made the odd spoon, the odd bowl, the odd thing here and there. And I watch Doug Linker because I love that. That's very relaxing to go out and sit and whittle away at a piece of wood. It's just awesome. But again, I just don't have the time. I've got a selection of axes and various different things I use when I'm out in the man cave, and I've got my little fire, my wood burning stove. I've got a log pile, and I go out and sometimes spend a bit of time splitting some wood. That's my ideal life. My wife and I have talked about this a lot, about moving out to the US. I'd love to live in the US. Absolutely love to live in the US. Lake District. That's our calling in the UK, but I'd love to live in the US. We even talked about Alaska. I would love that as a challenge. I know I'm probably not tough enough for that kind of thing, but it's a dream. You could dream, can't you? Anyway, most of this will probably be cut out because I just realised I've just been waffling on for ages. But I'm just feeling chatty. It's nice. I like the chats. It's always difficult. People said to me, I used to like your channel. I always, when people started with that, I used to like your channel when, like, okay, so you don't like it now, that's a bit worrying. When you used to talk about you and your life and things that you've done, and it's when you've been doing it as long as I have, and you chat a lot because you like to chat, people know most stuff about you. There's not much, I don't have many secrets about who I am and what I do and my family, and I talk about all sorts of stuff. So it's talking about things as well that people maybe don't know, or I don't know. I'm going to finish this off, and then we'll get this over to the agro-industrial cooperative. To look at my options for clearing that sand. I think I'm going to use that rig. I'm going to use the big rig. I will speak to the authority and see about getting one of those big old trailers to make life easy for myself. Get that pickup header and just do a mass clearing of sand. to clear that field. Okay, after all that, I don't know how much of that I'll leave in. You might now be thinking, leave what in? What's he talking about? MrSealyp in the round. In more ways than one. So, Agro-Industrial Cooperative, I'm on their account. This is their facility. It's their crop, it's their money. Just doing a favour. So with that done, I then go back to my account. I just go and sort out this. And obviously now I'm not going to I won't get it all done in this episode. So I'm thinking next episode will be. I'm going to have to prep that big field, aren't I? I was going to skip ahead. I thought what I'll do is skip ahead into March 2. I'll have my ore and stuff to do. Or at least skip ahead till the next field's ready to harvest, which again I need to have a look because we're probably not far off, are we? What we're looking at? Crops. So, yeah, I mean potentially our corn could be next. Those two aren't ready yet. That we've just planted, but those two won't be ready for a little while. But we'll have some other contracts will pop up. We've got a couple of small ones here, but things like that one there, when that pops up. 17, have we done a contract on 17 yet? I'm trying to think. Did I do cultivating on there, or did I do potatoes or sugar beet? Potentially, if we get any of those pop up. So yeah, I need to. Like I say, this is the gear I used before. It's bonkers stuff. Big capacity trailer with that forage pickup, because I can pick up from anywhere with that. I might clear a load of the sand and stuff away from the sides of the road with that as well, because there's a lot of it that kind of clogs up the roadway. So I might do a bit of citizenship work as well. We'll clear a bit of land. I need to get the harvester back inside the wall, just in case of roaming bandits, Tuscan raiders, that kind of stuff. You never know. So I need to get that inside the wall. So I'll see you in a minute for the start of clear up, and we'll get a load more of this sand off. So what I'll do is I'll use the big trailer to get the sand off, and then I will get the Dr. Julia conveyor that I used before, and we'll unload from the trailer via the conveyor onto the train, and then we'll send all the sand off. So we'll fill the train up to capacity. I would imagine it's going to have to be multiple times, but that'll be a bit extra money actually. You know, it's not going to be mega money, but we're going to have to shift a lot of it to make any money, but I think there's a lot of it here to shift, so we'd probably do alright with it. Equipment is leased. I haven't got the conveyor belt yet. I'm going to start, hopefully this should work. It worked with the dirt, so don't see any reason why it wouldn't work with the sand. I'm going to start right here. So I'm going to probably do a little bit of landscaping. I might do a little bit of that. Shifting the sands of time. Pipe out. Hopefully this works. Turn that on. Here we go. So I can do, as a service to the authority, I can clear out the entryways, because there's the other one we came out of with the harvester as well. So we can do all of this. I can clear by the sides of the roads. I couldn't do this with the Dr. Julia conveyors, because that will pick up from the ground, but only if you're on the ground. This thing will pick up from anywhere. So this is what allowed me to do the dirt anywhere, and it will do the same here. There's a lot. I didn't realise how deep this was. I suppose you kind of drive over it. Once I'd flattened it a little bit a few times by driving over it, you don't realise just how much is on it. Wow. And left is our plot, plot, speak English. MrSealyp and plot. Well, we are going to fill up the train. I can see myself losing a few hours again here doing this. I mean, we already shifted. How many million litres was it we did when we did the sand up around the agro-industrial cooperative? Was it 2.5 or something like that? I can't remember what it was now. And we only did 6 million litres of dirt. So I reckon we're going to shift a few million litres here again, aren't we? We need to get to our plot. Let's get this bit cleared. I don't know if I'm going to have the same problem I did before. This trailer holds 1 million litres. This was the Schrodinger trailer, wasn't it? Schrodinger Industries. But, not Schrodinger, what was it? Quantum, it was Quantum trailer, I can't remember what I called it now. Seems like an age ago. But I could only get it to fill, I think the maximum I got it to was 700,000 litres. It wouldn't go up to the million. Not that that's a problem. I could only get it to go up to 700,000 litres. Boo! So, we're on our plot now. Straighten up a little bit. I'll go all down the side of the wall. If we do this field, I'm going to do the field as close to the wall as I can get away with. That's a lot of sand already, isn't it? Wow. Is there more there? It's hard to tell. So as you can imagine, I've got a bit of work to do now. Again, as I often do, start the next episode there may be a couple of little short clips of me loading the train up. I'm hoping we'll do alright financially out of this. It depends how many million litres, how far down the rabbit hole, how hooked I get, whether I put an audio book on, whether I spend this time actually, if I do this, catching up on some of my videos that I haven't watched this week, until mods drop. You know, that's the thing. It's that. What do I do until that happens? Next episode, prep work, completing jobs I was doing before, field prep, and anything that needs to be done. And I will see you on the next one. Hope you've enjoyed it. If you have, please give us a like. If you don't subscribe yet, please do. If you want to leave a comment, feel free. And if you want to share this video, then please be my guest. Whatever you should choose to do. Thanks for watching.